Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. We do have a lot to get into. So, how many of y'all were wondering just when the fireworks were going to stop? Because I was wondering that myself. Well, let's get into the big story, and not the big story that probably most people are focusing on. When you go and you poke, what is it, a bear, a tiger, anything at the zoo, when you poke the bear or you poke the bull, you're going to get the horns. Or you poke the bear, you're going to get swiped in the face. Wow. So there was a drone attack. So initially, we were trying to move to peace, right? And one of the things that Putin said specifically to Trump, and this was about a month ago, he said specifically, stop funding Ukraine. Pull out the money from the military. Do it, or we're not going to have peace. I'm not going to sign anything till you do that. Trump said he would do that if Putin signed. Putin, of course, did not trust us. We didn't trust Putin, so nothing got done. Trump didn't cut off the funding to Ukraine. Putin didn't stop, his aggression. And so it was essentially like a slow walk into what we have now seen. Because you've got essentially, you could call some attacks, certain types of attacks from Ukraine as being not quite the most scrupulous. And in the latest one, at least it was a military operation as far as what they had targeted with Russian airspace, Russian airplanes, specifically bombers, and military airports, or that was the main target, and they hit hard. And this was something I wanted to do a deep dive on later on, but since we're coming up to it, the point to look at this is how much damage was done with very little. A lot of damage was done with very little effort. And that is what was coming for all of us. You don't think that with these military successes from Ukraine that the entire world is watching this and being like, so you're saying we can buy a bunch of cheap drones, shove a little Simtex or C4 on them, and we can just pretty much take out whoever we want? And it costs us a fraction of what we use for a cruise missile? Yeah, man. Drone swarms is what is coming, and it is a scary thought. Man, I thought Terminators were scary, but you're talking about a bunch of buzzing bees that when all combined turn into a massive bomb, or just one landing on you would pretty much kill you, do enough damage that nobody's going to be able to piece you back together. That's a scary time, folks, and we are living it. Think about that, because that is coming. This will be used on citizens of their own countries. I guarantee it. So what has happened, I believe, earlier this week, right after the drone strike, Trump immediately talked to Putin and was like, look, this was bad. Is there any way we can get back there? And of course, Putin's not going to do that. If this was done to us or this was done to another nation, they're going to respond. And Putin made it very plain. Yeah, man, we got to attack. Maybe after we beat the snot out of them, we can do it, because right now we've got a safe face. He attacked into Mother Russia, and now we have to go back and we have to retaliate. And that has what has been happening overnight. So all these are bleeding into each other. So Putin essentially confirmed that after the drone attack that he in fact would retaliate. So one, Russia said, yeah, we got hurt. They try to play it down, but the estimates are coming in around 30%. I think that's probably a little high. Russia's saying they didn't hurt them at all. Of course, you try to kind of chart down the middle. So let's say 25%, 20% of their bombers were hurt. And these are strategic bombers that are utilized for serious deployments up to nuclear weapons. So nuclear weapons could be used on them, but generally they're used for other long-range missiles or larger bombs that are used to drop on targets. And as you saw last night, as we'll get into, that's what happened. So please note, officials said that at least more than 40 bombers have been hurt, which, who knows? I'm sure they were hurt, but again, you got to look at how quickly, they can be repaired, how much damage was actually done. Was it something superficial? And so we don't really know that, but you can guarantee that some were definitely taken offline. Only 117 drones. These drones cost, what do you think they cost? Let's say they cost $3,000. That's still nothing. That's still less than $1 million to take out bombers. How much do you think those bombers cost? I mean, what was it? Our F-22 was like in the billions for just one of them. It's pennies on the dollar, man. Asymmetrical warfare. That's what this is. This is brand new asymmetrical warfare. And then this is what was happening overnight. Capital of Ukraine was getting bombed the crap out of. So don't know how much damage has happened. I pray for everybody involved. It's not good. I don't want to see World War III. Nobody wants to see World War III. I wish that there was some way that we could backtrack a few months and Putin and Trump, maybe Trump pull the plug on Ukrainian dollars flowing in and say, look, we're giving you 1 week. You know, if you try to invade or do something, just know that we're going to unleash hell and you're going to regret it. And Putin's like, okay, we'll give you 1 week and prove that you've pulled the funds out of Ukraine and we'll just take a step back. But unfortunately, cooler heads did not prevail and we are where we are today. We can only pray that something happens and we start backtracking to where we can find peace, because I don't want to see a war. You don't want to see a war. Nobody wants to see what this conflagration is going to lead into. And then this is a story that most people are probably looking at, and this is basically Trump and Elon going back and forth trading barbs, where essentially Trump, like him or hate him or whatever, regardless, you got to know he's egotistical, right? And so when his number one pet comes in and is like poo-pooing all of his stuff, he doesn't like it. It's like, you know what, Musk, you know, your time's done great. We were going to have you on for another few months, but you got a lot of stuff that you need to take care of. Why don't you go ahead and leave? Again, Musk and his team worked really hard on this. They worked on it, and they've made results. And those results are not being incorporated into the bill, the big, beautiful bill, that is essentially a continuation of Biden-era budgets and policies. Musk is like, what happened to all the work that we did? And Trump is essentially promising that, look, we will get it done. Again, pointed out earlier that the Senate is now saying that they will look at it through rescission. It's where they essentially trim it out one line item at a time. I don't believe that's going to happen. And then now Johnson has come out, and Speaker of House Johnson has come out and said, okay, well, maybe we'll try to incorporate a bunch of it. And you've got two different parties coming at this, looking at it and saying that, look, either we're going to raise the deficit by $2.4 trillion, which is absolutely insane. I don't believe that's going to happen, or it lowers it by $1.4 trillion, which I don't believe is going to happen. Who knows? But regardless, we need to get ready for what's really going to happen, which is a financial or debt crisis or a combination of both. And that's frankly is what's going to happen, because realistically, it's not going to get fixed. Nobody's going to fix this. They don't care about us. And so we need to look after our own and start preparing for when our dollar becomes better than very little or much, just a fraction better than toilet paper. And you, I'm sure, saw where Elon Musk, because again, both of these guys have huge egos. So when Trump kicked him out, Musk just unleashed hell and was like, well, you're on the Epstein list. Ooh. I'm going to take away all my toys. Ooh. Really? Really? Number one, not saying he is or isn't, but if Trump was on the Epstein list, I'm pretty sure the left would be going nuts about that a while ago. And they tried. They tried. Because I think Trump was on one of the log books or something on one of the flight logs for Epstein's plane, the Lolita Express, I think. And Trump showed evidence showing that, look, yeah, I was on one of the planes or met with him at one point. As soon as I figured out what he was all about, he was banned from Mar-a-Lago, never talked to him again, told all my businesses to not associate with him. And that's what essentially happened. So if it comes out that Trump was doing something or had done something, I'm pretty sure the left would have already been on it by now. But if he has, guess what? We can always add somebody to the wood chipper. That's why you do not raise people up and believe that they cannot be corrupted. So I doubt it, because if that were true, I'm pretty sure Musk would be really laying into that and have done it before that. I don't think Musk would have partied up to Trump and found out that he was something other than what he expected him to be and worked with him, because Musk essentially would risk his reputation. But again, Musk is his own guy, and they're both egotistical a-holes. And when the fallout occurred and Trump essentially said, well, we're going to yank all your contracts, Musk lost a gasket. We're not going to give any more EV credits, which I believe Musk said, fine, I don't really care. My EVs are the best anyway. Careful, Musk. China's got some good stuff happening out there, so you better, keep on the cutting edge. I know you're working on the battery technology, and the battery technology is going to be what makes or breaks it. So, wow, it's just absolutely insane what's happening. And then I think this one is what's making the rounds right now, and this is fantastic. Elon's stance is principled. We've done all this work. It needs to go in. Trump's stance is practical. Look, we have to do what we can do right now. So if this is what we can do, this is what we go with, and this is what we do, then this is what we got. So we do what we can right now, and maybe next year where we incorporate a lot of that. I mentioned that on another stream, that realistically you have to do with what you have right now. Tech needs Republicans for the president. Yep, but as soon as another administration comes in, they'll throw us out, and Republicans need tech for the future. Both parties need tech for the future. It's a symbiotic relationship. Drop the tax cuts, cut some pork, and get the bill through. And that's probably what is going to happen, and we will see. We will see. Again, we're back to our commies section. I love pointing out commies. Looks like a commie, quacks like a commie. It's a commie. So this also is making the rounds. I don't think it is overly critical, but I do want to point out something from it, given I have a little bit of insight. So this girl that has gone in, or this woman has gone in, and supposedly, oh, look, I'm the first Asian who's come in and made some sort of commencement speech, and blah, blah. Sit down. Like, the whole part of this DEI stuff is that 50% of the Ivy League elite have been Asians. You don't think there was an opportunity for an Asian to step up and speak? They just had enough wherewithal to be like, nah, not really worth it. But you get a little, what? You got a degree in, like, international public administration, I believe it was. Oh, I've got a fancy degree in public administration. Public administration is a fancy word for I'm a government bureaucrat. That's what she learned to be, a government bureaucrat. We're going to get into that. So she described how she danced through each other's traditions and told the audience to hold on to people with different faiths, opinions, and backgrounds. No. Different cultures are better than others. Get over it. You can be proven. Please. Come on. Come on, liberal. Explain it to me. Leftist, I'm not talking to you. You've got no soul. No. You adhere to your culture and tradition, or the culture and tradition of the country that you live in, and you work within that framework. That's what you do. And this woman, what she has done is basically harp on multiple things that the CCP, specifically Xi, talks about in his speeches. For example, widely took to social media echoing Xi's community with a shared future for mankind. The phrase community with a shared future was used by a former Chinese leader, Hu Jintao, to describe China and Taiwan, and then changed to all mankind the following year. Xi then integrated into a core part of the CCP's diplomatic narrative. And you're like, it's just a coincidence. No, there's more. So Xi delivered multiple speeches where he used this phrase and variations of building a community with a shared future for mankind, against speaking U.S. hegemony, because again, they want to be number one, touting multipolarity, again, trying to say, okay, we can all come together and destroy the U.S., and decrying imperialism, colonialism, and hegemonyism. Please. So one of the things to note is that this girl's family is tied to the CCP. Her father is a big proponent and rich, wealthy man within the CCP. She has come out and tried to distance herself from him, but her whole family is intertwined with the CCP. The father is, the grandfather is, the mother is, don't know about the grandmother, but they're all heavily intertwined with the CCP. This woman is dyed in the wool CCP. Not only that, I thought I cut it out and put it in here. Yeah, here it is. The Ivy League institution has been a primary overseas destination for CCP to send chosen cadres to study public administration. What was her degree in again? Op-ed published in the state media, Shanghai Observer dubbed Harvey Kennedy School the #1 overseas party school for alumni who became high-ranking officials in the CCP. That woman going back with a red star on her forehead. Yup. And why is this important? Because cut number 382, this thing that has happened is just crazy. It happened 2024. We're just hearing about it now. 2 Chinese nationals accused of pathogen smuggling sparks national security concerns over CCP infiltration. So this ties back into the previous story and the other stories where you're basically showing that CCP, again, they play the long game. This is death by 1,000 cuts. They're not going to come at us from the front. They're coming at us sideways. Yes, I'm not doing the meme again. Clever girl. So this is absolutely nuts. They're trying to story American institutions target our food supply. So I think I have this noted later on, but now that I've got it in memory, talked about a story earlier where the Arizona governor vetoed a bill that would prevent CCP and other nations buying farmland and land around military installations. This is exactly why. This is why you don't let your enemy own your farmland. So who is Katie Hobbs working for? Who is she working for? If it looks like a commie, smells like a commie, quacks like a commie, that a commie. So they smuggled in this pathogen, a fungus known as for serum. I ain't even going to try. And apparently, per the Department of Homeland Security, this is classified as bioterrorism. So this isn't just some run-of-the-mill mold. This mold specifically, an agroterrorism agent, causes head blight, devastate wheat, maize, corn, rice, and health problems in humans and livestock. I believe the health problems it talks about later on in another article that I'm going to have here, it essentially damages liver function and reproductive function in people. Kind of a serious deal. So the girl is a postdoctorate research fellow at the Molecular Plant Microbe Interaction Laboratory at the University of Michigan. Notice they are a student. You see where this is coming from. You see where they're blocking Harvard students from coming in. They're trying to reduce Chinese students coming in or vet them more to make sure they're not part of the CCP because this is what they're doing. Death by 1,000 cuts. FBI agents found an electronic document describing her membership and loyalty to the CCP. So this is the whole story right here, and it is just an absolute craziness. So in 2024, landed in a tourist visa claiming he was visiting his girlfriend. So they searched his luggage and found 4 plastic baggies stuffed with reddish plant material, later confirmed to be laced with the germ, the fungus. They tried to play dumb, insisted someone must have planted the stuff in his bag. So they started pushing him, and again, after questioning, he admitted to hiding the samples in a wad of tissues to dodge CBP. Intending to deliver them to Jean's lab at the University of Michigan for research. What do you think they're going to do with that? They're going to grow it. They're going to cultivate it, spread along the U.S. This is terrorism. This is CCP terrorism. Message 20. So this is going on. So that Jean discussed to smuggle the biological materials past CBP. So in other words, they've been planning this for quite a while. Even boasted about hiding samples in her shoes during a previous trip. So they practiced this. They did this. This is absolutely nuts. This is Chinese terrorism. Showing loyalty to the CCP. We already discussed that. Harboring an article titled 2018 Plant Pathogen Warfare Under the Changing Climate Conditions. So again, this is stuff that they got from the CCP, We don't know if they're directly connected to it other than that they're hardcore members of it, and they were trying to find a way to help their motherland to destroy the U.S. Again, I give you cut example number 382, where is death by 1,000 cuts. Thankfully, this one was stopped just in the nick of time, because what they're going to do is they're going into this college where there's low security, and they're probably low observation, where they're actually watching what these PhD candidates are doing, and they were going to cultivate it, they were going to grow it, and then work on a distribution network. Probably contact CCP and be like, hey, look, we've got this fungus that is seriously going to destroy American crop yields, and we need some help essentially distributing across the Sun Belt. Or Rust Belt. I don't know, they're calling it the Sun Belt now. Just now in custody, deemed a flight risk. I believe there's something else. Raises question how long the scheme was in development. Again, going all the way back since 2014. So again, they look at the long game, cultivating the pathogen before lose arrival. Jeez, that's the whole point. They get the samples that they need because this is a bioterrorism. They get it where they can grow it, they can cultivate it, they can grow larger and bigger samples of it, that they can distribute it and unleash it across the country. Just absolutely nuts. And again, this hurts our liver, this hurts our livestock, and it messes up our reproductive organs. So, I mean, what do we do? This is frankly an act of war. That's what this is. I'm not saying we go to war with China, but I'm saying this is why you close down the border. This is why you vet everyone coming into the country. You cannot justify allowing people willy-nilly to come in. This right here should be on the front page everywhere across the nation, saying this is why we validate all students coming in, and we stop all student visas from China right now until we can vet every single one of them, and they go through additional scrutiny to make sure they're not smuggling in contraband. This is absolutely could have destroyed millions of lives and caused some sort of serious starvation and famine here in the United States. Is that what you liberals want? Is this what you liberals praise for? Oh, we need to allow everybody in that wants to come in. This is what you're promoting. Good job. And I always like to leave on a high note. So this is something funny. We all remember Jean-Pierre, some idiot that claims that she's a black woman and gay to hold as the press secretary. No, she was the first secretary to have an IQ below 80. That's what her claim to fame is. So she has now released a book, surprise, surprise, some sort of book deal, I'm sure, to launder money to give to her. And in it, she has now switched her affiliation to independent. Because even she, with her two brain cells rubbed together, can see the writing on the wall that the Democrat ship is going down, that it is supporting things that are absolutely asinine, like allowing illegals into the country, like allowing CCP sympathetic students, terrorists in here to basically propagate the destruction of the United States. So even she can see writing on the wall and get out. Get out, leftist. Or no, I'm sorry, get out, liberal. Leave the leftists in their sinking ship. We've got to do better. We've got to do something because we got to steer the ship better, man. We're headed for that iceberg, and I don't want to see us hit it because if we hit it, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. So, toodles, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace. I ain't doing peace. Now, I got to figure something else out. Big Badger energy. How do I cut this off?